everybody, Steven here, and for today's video I'm going to show you how to do what I consider to be a natural movement lunge, where we're actually going to pick something up off the ground. You'll also see this called kind of like a split stance squat, or maybe even a slight variation of a single leg deadlift in a sense. But with this, you will need some type of kettlebell or something like that. I'm going to show you how I apply this to my everyday movement, because I want movements for my clients personally to have that transferability between the gym and then when they come home, because they're spending more time at home and at work and all of this, and they're not spending obviously all their waking hours in the gym. So we want to take that and be able to immediately apply that to our daily lives. So with this, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it from multiple angles really quick, and then we'll talk about some of the things that I'm looking for. So just a quick showcase of the movement. I'm here, I'm going to come forward, and then I'll pop back. I could technically go forward, right? So if I'm here, I could technically pop up and immediately go into my gait cycle with that, right? So I could go right into my walking pattern with that. Obviously, seeing that stance here, this is where you'll see kind of that split stance squat with it, or this being dominant to that front leg, single leg deadlift, right? I'd have to pick the leg up off the ground for that variation. But like I said, for me, this is more of a natural movement lunge, which is more here. In this position, you might have seen an image at some point of some indigenous tribe where they're holding onto spears or tools, or they're just leaning like this. You'll see martial artists lean in this position. If I'm here, it gives me these options where I can actually go from here, I can pop up and I can cut out really quick, right? We're not doing that with this, but I'm taking that and then applying it to a lift. So with this, the one foot that I have forward actually ends up even with this kettlebell here. This other leg is back, and it's almost like a normal stride that I might take with my walk, with my gait, right? Once I'm here, it's a hinge. Biggest thing that I see here is people try to make this vertical. It's not vertical. I'm hinging back. I'm grabbing onto the bell. I want to make sure that that shoulder's loaded, so I'm not completely like this. I'm also not rounding my back. My opposite arm actually comes out, and I'll show you this from a different angle here in a minute. So I'm here, and then I'm thrusting back off this heel, pushing off this heel, because this glute of this leg is really tight. I'm pushing back and I'm coming up. Now that's me coming backwards. If I'm going forwards, same thing. I'm lunging off of that front foot, using that glute to bring me forward. Okay? If I'm here, loading back into this glute, sending that down, I can let go. Okay? So with this, neutral spine is a big thing. Making sure that I'm not rotated too much. You're going to have a little bit of rotation. That's fine. I don't want to be rounded with my shoulder though. So if I'm here, I don't want to be like this. I want to make sure that that shoulder's engaged and it's loaded. Okay? With this, the comparable that I use for this, right? Kind of the thing that you'll see this position with, sprinters, right? The sprinters down here, right? If they're not going off the block, but it still is kind of similar if they're going off the blocks. But football player, right? When they're lined up on that, they're down here like this, right? They might have both hands down, they might be leaning, they might have just, I'm in that same position, I just have the weight, and then they're snapping their hips and they're going forward. That's where I say, with one variation, if you didn't want to come back, I could go forward. And this is how I use it day to day, right? I'm gonna come up, I have the object I need to grab, boom, I'm here, and I pop, and then I start walking. Now I'm doing my suitcase carry, right? Once I'm done with it, I can bring it back down, same position here, and at that point I can either pop back and move around the object if it's a larger one, or from here, if I'm going to pop forward, just be conscious of the fact that I'm going to need to either move my foot around or up and over the object, which can be a little bit more risky. You have to be conscious of these things, right? What's safe and efficient for you. So let's do this again from a couple different angles here. I'm going to switch sides. So as I come here and I come down, I'm loading back. So I'm here, right? Notice that I'm not trying to keep that heel on the ground. This arm comes back here. I have intra-abdominal pressure. I'm going to push back. I'm going to come up. Here I want to be squared up too. I don't want to be slouching. That's pulling on my back. It's no good, right? I come forward. I'll load back. Set here. And I'll come back up. I'm going to show you this dead on also. Switch back to that other leg. When I'm here, big thing here, don't let that knee collapse. It's out, I'm here. And the reason I'm doing that with my arm is if I need to, I can thrust it, especially if I'm about to go into my walking pattern, right? My gait cycle. If I'm gonna go into gait, I wanna use that arm because it's gonna start swaying. It also lets me know through proprioception, because I know where this hand is in space, what my shoulders are doing. If I'm here and my shoulder's slouched like this and it's not where it needs to be, and this is just dangling there, my shoulders are gonna be off. This lets me know, gives me that cue, okay, my shoulders are set, I'm not completely rounded and twisted, right? I actually have that line that I want where I'm here, and now I can, boom, pop back. Or if I needed to, here, boom, and I can start walking, right? So, making sure all of those things are in place, it's gonna take time. It's all those little details that you need. So, squared up, foot comes next to the bell. This one's pretty much in line with this object. Hinging those hips back as I do that. These knees are bending. I'm now on the ball of my foot back here, grabbing the object. This arm comes back. I have intra-abdominal pressure, so I've taken a deep breath through my nose and I've filled my entire midsection with air. If you don't know what that is, I'll make sure there's some videos attached so you can learn how to do your intra-abdominal bracing. You need that when you lift heavy objects, right? Because if I don't have this full of air, there's nothing internally supporting my back, and we want to make sure we have that. Here, that knee's not dropping, it's not doing this. I'm here, and then I can boom, pop, and then I'm back. Using this glute right here. Coming back down here, down, loading back, and then I'm done. Now, how I use that around the house. Got a couple of the dog's toys. Prime opportunity to use these movements around the house where you can actually then ingrain those movement patterns and you can tell your body this is how we do this. That way you don't have to constantly think about it. That's a lot to think about. The more I do it, the more reps I put in, I don't have to think about it as much, right? So as I come up to pick up objects, I'm here, right? There is more shoulder rotation because I'm not grabbing a handle, but I'm here, and I pop back, right? Same thing, come here, boom. So now I can work on that around the house where my kids' toys are around the house here, the dog's toys around. I use that as an opportunity to grab that object and use these movement patterns like I need to, right? Whether I could come down here, I could do a flat-footed squat and I could grab these things and come out of that. I could do a one-leg or stiff-legged deadlift, single-leg deadlift, right? You can use all of these things, but this one is one that I use a lot where I'm gonna grab and then I'm gonna pop out of it, right? As I do that, I'll learn that movement pattern a lot more efficiently, and it's gonna make my movements in the gym, was what I mean, more efficiently, because now I've done it in a manner that I'm highly repetitious with it, my body can adapt to it, and it's not under tremendous load, right? Greg Cook says something that I love. Greg Cook, I always forget his first name, but with the functional movement screening, which is that we never layer or add load on top of dysfunction, right? I don't want to do something that's crazy heavy. And I usually have clients start out with a 15 pounder. I don't have them start out with a 35 pounder. I start there and then I see how their movement patterns are. But even before that, the first 10, no weight. It's just here and then pop back. And we can work on that with picking objects around the house, up, off the floor, outside. And what becomes interesting is those don't have handles on them, right? When the object becomes more dynamic, that's where it becomes a little bit more interesting, because now it's going to shift. It doesn't have a smooth surface. It doesn't have a handle, right? We have sandbags that moves around. If I'm grabbing like a bucket of water, right, that we're moving water around the backyard, same thing, right? So it challenges the body a little bit more. But we start with the safe version first, and then we progress towards those. So hopefully that helps anybody that's looking for not only a tutorial on this, but maybe you were just looking for exercises and you happen to come across this and something unique that you can add into your exercise program, but also outside of that exercise program in your daily life. That's kind of the big thing that we kind of unfortunately separate the gym stuff from the home stuff. There's an integration there that we need to be conscious of. A pull-up serves a function. A pull-up, push-up, a pull-up, all these things serve functions outside of the gym. If we're going to scale a wall, if I need to get up off the floor, right, we need to be conscious of that so that we can train with intent with that. So MoveNat always says, be strong to be helpful, and this is an example of that, where I can take this and I can use this to help other people if the context of the environment demanded that I was in that position to help somebody, right? So if you guys like the video, hit the like button for me. If you guys want to see anything else too, let me know. I don't really edit any of these videos or anything like that, so I usually try to just roll on with as much information as possible for you guys. I'm going to start honing those in here pretty soon, but for now I want to make sure that I cover all the context behind why I do what I do, because I'm taking all this stuff and I'm doing it with my clients, and I'm hoping to share that to a higher level with you guys, because I know sometimes they're like, people say that the videos are too long, but I want to get my point across, and I'm teaching this exactly how I would teach this to a client. So, and they're paying me a lot of money to train with me. I'm not there to tweak and check everything, so that's where you need to film yourself, use a mirror, whatever it is, so that you can understand what's going on with that, and you can make those adjustments to that so that you don't hurt yourself. So, but if you guys like the video, hit the like button for me. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to see. If you guys like my content, please hit the subscribe button for me. You can continue to follow along with all the supplement reviews, the MoveNat videos, the exercise tutorials like this stuff, MoveNat workouts, all of that with that too. Thank you guys so much for watching.